everyone for here for this talk, which is entitled Computational Thinking and Programming Skills for Non-Computer Science Graduates. Now, I believe here most of you are from the undergraduate. Either you are from engineering, business, applied science. So you are here for your extra learning. Now, we are very fortunate that we are having Dr. Siow among us. I will give you a brief introduction on Doctor. Before that, some housekeeping rules that I just like to announce here. This talk is going to be 2 hours. Now, we are going to have a first session. Then we will have a short break somewhere in between. So from the time now until then, if you have any questions, we have a first half session for Q&A. So if you can just type into the chat box. We will note them. If questions are overwhelming, we will select some. Then we will continue with the second portion, which is a little bit more practical, as informed by Dr. Siow. Then we will end with another session of Q&A. Now, before that, I'd just like to introduce Dr. Siow. Dr. Siow is from UTM. So for those of you who do not know, it's the University Technology Malaysia. Dr. Siow is an expert in ocean hydrodynamic field. So apart from running experiments, he's very well versed in a lot of programs. So his computer skill is not limited to C#, Visual Basic, Fortran. Fortran is something quite old, but he's well versed in all of them: C++, C, MATLAB ANSYS, Adrian 7, so on and so forth. So today he's very interested to inform or shed some light on how programming actually goes hand in hand, and no one should be intimidated. Everybody can have a hand in programming. So Dr. Siow is currently a lecturer in UTM. He graduated from UTM as well, whereby he got his doctorate, and he also got his degree from UTM as well in marine technology. So as you can see, his application is more on the ship hydrodynamics, but utilizing a wide array of computational tools, which makes him an authority in this subject. So without further ado, I pass the time to Dr. Siow, whereby he will take you guys on the first session and followed by Q&A. Okay, thank you everyone. I pass the time to Dr. Siow. Welcome, Dr. Siow.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Jonathan, for giving a chance to share my experience on doing the programming, doing the computational job. Right. Well, when I received the invitation from Dr. Jonathan, I saw that it is the research curriculum, right? But I think my research field is more on the ship tracking, ocean hydrodynamics, and I think not much of the student from UCSI, especially student in the undergraduate, is working in this field. So I think the good thing for me to share with you maybe is related about my experience on how I solving the problem, how I using the computer in my working. Then I hope this type of sharing can enhance your skill or give you explore your knowledge. Therefore, you are able to using this skill for your research, for your study, or maybe after graduate for your life, for your working life. I mean, all right. So maybe from here, have some of student is study computer science. Sorry to say, I am focused in the non-computer science graduate. The reason is, for computer science student, you already have a very good computer thinking skill and programming skill. I think you maybe from your lecturers, you already have a lot of this kind of understanding and knowledge. But for non-computer science student, maybe some of them you know think that computer programming, what relate with me? I am an engineer, or I am maybe I study the business admin. After graduate, I want to become manager. What else with the programming? But in today, I will tell you how important these two things. And actually, for computer thinking, it's not for programming. It is for the skill on how you think and solve the problem. So I would like to take this chance to share with you about my understanding and how I use these two things. And as for information, I am not from computer science. My bachelor's degree is in engineering, and my PhD also studied in engineering. So therefore, I purpose for this title in my speech today. Right. Let me start with the first one. This is the content I try to deliver for this afternoon sessions. I will start with some information or some sharing about the industrial revolutions, like the history thing, and then I will talk with you about the required skill in IR 4.0. I believe all of you already know what is IR 4.0. Okay, so this is what current is a very hot topic in not only in Malaysia, it's worldwide. A lot of people when you want to talking about the what is the future career life, even relate with the IR 4.0 because this is what the current market need and the job market require, right? So I will try to relate this thing with the computational thinking and also the application of computer thinking for non-computer science graduate. This one is to tell you how we can using this thinking skill to solve our daily problem. I will give you the simple example, and I select one of the example I used to teach my engineering student in the class solid mechanics. Okay, so it's talking about solid mechanics but using computer thinking. So I will share example here. So I propose maybe we can take a short break, and after this section, after that we continue with this one of programming skill. So here I would like to share with you about how I learned the programming skill, actually how I understand and use the programming language. From my life, from my diploma until currently I'm working, I already use more than I think around 5 to 7 programming language. Different programming language actually I use for different purpose, and I will show you why I always switch from one language to another language, and the reason I do it in behind. Right at the end, I will share with you about the application of the programming skill in daily life. How I using this skill to solve my working the problem in my working, especially the task given my superior, how I can using it with a limited budget and limited of time. I can use programming skills to do the work, and like I can level out my time. Right. So this is all the content for the today's sharing. Now I start with the first part, which is regarding the Industrial Revolution. As what you know, in current development, we are in the IR 4.0, but Industrial Revolution actually can be start at 1784 since the first Industrial Revolution. In the first Industrial Revolutions, it's talking about the steam engine. Once the people know about creating the steam engine, a lot of the job we can replace. Maybe sometimes if you see we are using the animal for maybe for transportation and so on. So once the steam engine renovate, then people start to ship it. And using the steam engine, we can level up the workflow, and a lot of the things can be do faster. Then in 1870, people try to ship going to the second industrial revolution. It's talking about the mass production and distributionary. In this state, we will come up a lot of the job will be specialized. Maybe you are an engineer, so you are doing the job only for engineering or maybe for design. And if you are the technician or you are like the machine operator, your job will only focus in the operate the machines. So this is what happened in the second industrial revolution. We're talking about how we can mass produce and cut down the cost. Okay, then at 1979, we're going to the IR 3.0. 3.0 is talking about automation. It's quite a long time ago. Okay, so automation means we try to replace a lot of things by robot and try to using the automation machines. And in this time, we can find that it's a lot of the development in the electronic and IT system. After that, in currently now, so I think this is actually happening around a few years ago. Not it's now. It's I think in 2000. Okay, year 2000. So we start to talking about robotization and cyber physical system. This is what in the explosion of the IT system. When IT system we continue explore, we have a lot of the data, a lot of the current new sensor, smart sensor, and so on. So it helps us to be more better in the analysis and doing the task. So this is talking about IR 4.0 and what currently happened here. In future, we don't know what will happen, but it will be expand and more. I believe it's more talking about the automation, less human involvement, and also more we call the custom system. Okay, in IL 4.0, there are four main things we're talking about. One is away. Away here is talking about the sensor, how we're going to collect the environment data. So previously, maybe you need someone to, let's say you want to measure about the temperature, right? You need someone to get the thermometer and read the reading and log into the logbook manually. But in currently, we can use a lot of the smart sensor or electrical component combined with some of the microcontroller. Then everything can be do automatically without any humans. And some more, with a good internet connection, you can send all the data to the server for the future analysis. This is talking about the connection or connected. So the machine and the sensor will not only work alone, it will be connected from the machine or connected from the server for data collection or for the decision making purpose. Besides that, we are talking about intelligence. In IR 4.0, intelligence is one of the important things. That why in currently you heard a lot of the word about AI. What is the artificial intelligence? In artificial intelligence, maybe some of you will talk about the machine learning. A lot of this kind of the knowledge and the technology is expanded in this is expanded due to the development of the IR 4.0. And then it's talking about responsive. In our job, we only talk about the responsive. It's about internet and external command. This is let's say you want to do something, right? You want to measure a sensor or measure the data. You are not only need to go to the site. You can through the internet connection to remote control, and you are able to doing long distance data collection system or operations, right? So in this four item, this is something people we are talking about focus in the cloud computing. That means we try to move our calculation from our local computer going to the server. Maybe some of you here is maybe it's mechanical engineering. In 4 years, maybe you want to do the simulation using the computational fluid dynamics software, right? In currently, if you want to do the very heavy simulation, you need a very powerful computer. Okay, but for my current research, right, we try to generate a center server, and then we distribute the accessibility to all our students. Then they are using the server to do the simulation. That means they can remotely control the computer in our lab through their handphone. So the student no need to buy a very expensive or high-end computer by themselves, but they still can achieve the purpose getting the simulation result or data. So everything, maybe the setting will do in the local computer, which not require high computational force, and all the setting files sent to our server to conduct the future calculation. Besides, people forgot also the mobile device IoT platform. This is something we talk about the smart device, how we can doing something more smart and less human interface, and so on. This all we focus in the IR 4.0 developments. Okay, from all the current development in the IR 4.0, we can split and see that this is three main hard skill we required to have. Okay, for the first hard skill we focus is the technology skill, which is including the design skill, include visualization, simulation, interpersonal, modernization, decentralized computing. This all is talking more on how you develop a system, a new system. Maybe you want to doing the we call the visualization, like you want to using the automatic how is the name? It's something visualization the technology you want to use, and you want to using the process of digitization, like you want to doing the big data process. You have a lot of data, how you can process it to get the final answer or getting some information from the data you have. Right. And then working advanced with technology, this is related about how you're using the software, current high-tech software, or using the current available machine or system for easy your life. Second thing is about the programming skill. Programming skill is more related on the coding, software development. All right. In currently, maybe you have a lot of the software can be used, but sometimes you also have found that it is much better and much easy for you to make your own software due to your own preference. This is something you need a programming skill. Last is about the digital skill. Digital skill is on the how do you using the software people invent, or how you can using the available system. This is something related with the we call the data analytic. Maybe you can using the library already created by someone for your analysis. And this is all about the soft skill. Previously, you need a technology skill, programming skill, and digital skill for the hard skill. But for you to secure a good job, you not only need a hard skill. A soft skill also one of the important things you need to have. One of the first important soft skill you need to have in the IELTS 4.0 is the thinking skill. Thinking skill is related with the creativity, innovative. That means how do you solve a problem with the better solutions? This is something very important now. Or you can solve maybe some of the problem already solved previously. How you can using the computer or using the current technology to solve it even much better and much efficiently. Second is about the social skill. This is about teamworking, of course. In current development, what we know that you cannot understand everything by your own. You need someone we call the sharing and the teamworking, using some other skill to solving your problem. So in this condition, you need a teamworking. How you able to collaborate with other to use each one capability to solve the problem. And last is the personal skill. Personal skill is like the important is the lifelong learning. In my topics is why if you know that programming language and also the technology is keep always have a new technology and a new thing that we innovate and we come out into the markets. So lifelong learning is one important thing is you continue to learning to absorb a new system and new skill. So we will always become in the mainstream what people need. Okay, next is talking about the hard skill currently required by the market. So from here, this is what the information I obtained from the LinkedIn. So this is anyone if working in this 10 distribute this 10 industry field, you will be the most paid people in the market. We're talking about blockchain. Blockchain is more on the data saving and data sharing. Of course, some of you think blockchain is the technology for the Cytrons, okay? Sorry, for the crypto, but actually it's not. This is, of course, at the beginning, the people making the blockchain is for saving the data for the Bitcoin and so on. But currently in our technology, we try a lot to study about how to using this for our data, to keeping our data and saving information. Okay. And the rest, I think, is quite similar we shared previously about the cloud computing is what currently people need. And this is the top 5 most in demand soft skill. Creativity, persuasion, they mean more on how you go to do the negotiation. Collaboration is related with your team working. Adaptability, emotional intelligence, about how you control emotion and do a correct decision when it's needed. Right. So all these things is what the current requirement for in the fourth industry revolution, and what is the actually happen in the Malaysian market. So for myself, I try to collect the data. This is what the information I get from our alumni survey, where this survey is conducted for all the alumni from my university, especially from the mechanical engineering field, which had minimum 4 years of working experience. A lot of them currently already become a manager of the director level, and from the survey data we correct, you can see in currently this survey is conducted at the year 2019 and 2021. That means actually this outcome I just getting it a few months ago. So a lot of people highlight about artificial intelligence, AI, data analysis, big data. This is what currently the market required from our alumni tell us. And due to this outcome in our university, we also try to update and to align our syllabus so it can more align with what required by the market, and try to cover more of the course we are touching about this type of the technology or this kind of the skill to teach the students. Okay, now I start with the main part, which is about the computational thinking and what is computational thinking about. All right. Based on the definitions, computational thinking is the true process involved in the formulation problem and their solution, so that the solution and represent in the form that can be effectively carried out by an information process agent. Okay, this is the definition provided by this guy. So for your from this information, what you get is this comment is if you see the definition here, nothing talking about the programming and nothing talk about the coding, none of the word will say about the computer. I said the word computational, this computer, okay, but the main thing here you can see is the formulation of problem and get their solution. So what computer thinking talk about is get the problem and how to solve it. So this is the definition of the computational thinking, right? Before I continue, maybe you can spend some time. All of you can give me your response about what you understand about the computer thinking. Maybe your previous knowledge. Some of you maybe you heard it during your secondary school in some of the class in secondary school. I hope you can scan this QR code and then give me some answer. What you understand about the computational thinking. If you using the computer, you don't have the camera, you can log into this website www.menti.com and the code is 90 55 06 and 9. Okay. Maybe you can spend some time on giving me your understanding about this thing. You can write any word you think is related with your computational thinking. In maybe 1 or 2 minutes, then I show you about what you and your friends saying and how it's crossed with the exact definition about this term. Thank you. I start to receive some response from your friends. Right. So maybe I wait for 1 minute, then I can show you the answer you're all saying. So far I received 7, 8 response already. Okay, how more minutes? Don't worry, the survey here do not record your name. We don't have right or wrong. We don't have any penalty on your course mark. Just about sharing your understanding. Okay. So maybe I just show here about what you all write. Thank you. So this is the answer from you all. The first thing is talking. Normally in this word cloud, the bigger words here is talking about the most frequent thing you all saying. Problem solving process, problem solving method. A lot of you is talking about the problem is correct. Computer thinking, one of the purpose of computer thinking is the problem solving. We want to solve a problem. And then some of you say about the information process. Okay, yeah, you need to how to process information and smart thinking. Okay, this is I don't know how to define about smart thinking. So it's something like how we are able to using the process. In my opinion, smart thinking is like how using the spatial or the procedure to solve a problem. Okay, so more of you talking a correct thing about problem solving. Okay, so thank you for your response. Some of you, I see the decomposition. All right, decomposition, correct. Decomposition is one of the steps in the computational thinking. Later, we are going to touch it. What is meaning of decomposition? Right. So I stop this a while. We coming back to here. So in exact meaning, computer thinking is talking about things like the computer science people isn't talking about things like the computer. Think the computer, you will become like the very how to say digit. You only have 1 0 1 0. It's what computer look like, what computer thing. But when we talking about things like the computer science people, that means we are not like to become computer science people. We are just follow their thinking method and the way they solve the problem. their SOP to solve a problem in the computer coding. So we follow the solution applied in our discipline. Okay. Second, this is not talk about the coding skill. Computational thinking is not to teach you how do you make a coding, how do you make a software. In opposite, it is teach you how to solve a complex problem. Complex problem, that means there is a problem like involve a lot of the issue, or it is unable to solve maybe in 1 or 2 steps. So by applying computer thinking, we are able to decompose it, and we try to extract the problem, so we are able to solve it in a more easy and simple way. Okay, so this picture is good to describe the relationship between the computer thinking, computer science, and the coding. Okay, maybe some of the part of the computer thinking is talking about the coding. This is doing like if you want to solve a 100 multiply 100 metric, maybe at the end you need some coding skill to programming in the computer to help you to get the answer more quickly. But it's not about everything about the coding. Right. Before we continue about computer thinking, maybe I try to highlight or share with you about some about the Bloom taxonomy, and this is all the thinking skill we always focus when we talking about university syllabus. Right. For the more fundamental in the learning, so people will start with remember. Remember, that means you're going to understand and memorize. So you not understand, it means you try to memorize, and let's say you say problem solving is the definition of problem solving is how to solve a problem. Example, so people ask you what is problem solving, you will get the word how to solve a problem. This is talking about the remember, nothing about the understanding. Okay, and understanding about how you understand the problem and so on. So this is Bloom taxonomy is about the learning level, how well you learn something and how good you are. Okay. Okay, right. And this one, maybe people try to split it. The bottom 3 is the lower order thinking skill, and the top 3 is the hot we call it higher order thinking skill. And computer thinking is try to create someone able to learn in the learning process. You try to help someone to achieve the learning way up to this level. They mean create. You're able to know, you get the knowledge and how to use the knowledge to create something new. Okay, so this is all the Bloom taxonomy level talking about. Remembering is remember, understanding about you just know what happened behind and what's it. Applying that you know that 1 + 1 = 2. So how do you use the plus? The before is the applying. Analyzing is you are given like the problem, okay, or giving a data. You go and analyze is to see what is the different and what is similar. Evaluating is talking about you knowing what is okay, maybe some will confuse. Analyze is you know what is the different and what is similar. Evaluating, it maybe can go in the high level. What is the advantage and disadvantage, and what is the advantage from one item to another item. Last, creating, that means you're doing something new from what you understand. This is the Bloom taxonomy level. So by learning the computer thinking, we try to able to use. If you're using a computational thinking method, we are trying to learning the knowledge or any of the theory from going to the level 6. So this is what about computer thinking is related with the problem solving, and this problem solving is related with the critical thinking and the logical thinking. From here, we are able to think critically. Means you're going to look at something in behind or something really abstract. And logical thinking is maybe you can use it to solve a problem, right? You know the step by step how you are able to solving this. So this is all the thing related with the problem solving and what highlight is the computational thinking methods. Right. So in computational thinking, we have involved 4 steps. And for every problem, solving any of the problem, this is the 4 steps we always using. Step number 1 is talking about the decompositions. Okay, decomposition is breaking down a complex problem into smaller or more manageable crunch. That means we try to like you want to understand how the engine in your car works. You are able to know it by just looking at the at the whole engine. But if you open out it, you take out the piston, you take out about the block, you take out about the shock, everything, you will be able to see how the component connect each other and able to imagine how the mechanism of the engine. So this is talking about decomposition. Okay, second is the problem recognition. That means it's observe the pattern, trend, and regular in the data. Always when we going to identify something, or you decompose section the problem, you have found that certain part is similar, certain part is not similar. So we try to recognize the pattern, how it look like similar, and what is the similar thing. Why this is important is because if a lot of things is look like similar, we can using the same method or same step to solve it, although it is involved with a different component or different part of the step. In next, we are going to the pattern extraction. That means you already recognize the pattern, right? We try to extract it. Like some of the very detailed information is not important for you to build an algorithm or for you to build the procedure. We try to ignore it. Because if you have involved too much of the thing in one time, what will happen is you are unable to get the solution. What will happen is you will become more confused. So what we try to do is we're going to do the extraction. Like we eliminate some very detailed or very specific thing which is not so important for us to generate or to design a common procedure to solve this kind of similar type of the problem. Then step number 4 is talking about the algorithm design. That means algorithm is same as what you learn in the programming and doing the algorithm, like draw a flow chart, make a pseudocode to list down what is the step-by-step solution, so you are able to solve the problem you are facing. Okay, so we are looking at it one by one with some example now. First, the key skill of computer thinking is talking about the decomposition. As I mentioned previously, decomposition means the process of breaking down a complex problem into a small or more manageable part. Okay, example, you want to calculate the, let's say you want to calculate the force acting on the I-beam. Okay, you want to calculate the stress, normal stress acting on the I-beam. So you have to involve maybe calculate the area of moment inertia. You need to calculate maybe the neutral axis. So if people ask you if people ask you how to calculate the stress on the beam, so what you need to do is you need to break out it. One step you want to calculate the area. Second step you calculate area of moment. Maybe how to calculate look at how to calculate neutral axis. Once you know all this single step, you are able to know how you can solve a general problem like calculate the stress acting on the beam. So this is called the decomposition. We break out every part every single problem, in the big problem we break out every small problem and we list out it, and then we can look at it one by one on how to solve a single one. Okay, this is what people say. If you can't solve a problem, then this is easier problem for you can solve it, find it. This means we break out a big problem into a small problem or a lot of small problem. So has some of them you are able to solve it and you know the method. Right. This process enables us to analyze the different aspects of them, ground our thinking, and guide ourselves to the endpoint. So this is first thing. And this is some example. Build up your own office table. Let's say you are given a task to make your office table or make a coffee table, and so on. So how you want to build? The first thing is you have to think what is the tool you need. Example. So for tool, you're going to break out again. What else tool you need? Maybe you need an Allen key, or maybe you need a screwdriver, spanner, or all of the thing. You try to list out. Then you are going to think how I can get the Allen key, where I can get the screwdriver, and from where I can borrow a spanner. Then, if you want to build a coffee table or build an office table, you need to think about components involved in the table. So if you want complete table, you need a leg, you need a tabletop. Maybe this is talking about office table. You need an extension cable so you can put your laptop on the top of the table and you have the electric supply. So after you break out it, you are easy to know that what else you need to buy. Maybe you can go into IKEA to buy, or maybe you custom order from someone else to build for you for every component. And then you have to think about the design. design is very important in the coffee table, office table. Why? Maybe you need to know the dimension. So maybe your room, the size of the room is not very big, so it's impossible for you to build a very big size of the table. Or maybe you think about the table you want to move to the second floor or third floor by you want to put inside your lift. So in this case, you have to think about what is the sustainable size of the component. So you can break down it, you put into the lift and move to the second floor before you assembly it. And also the shape. And also sometimes you talk about feng shui, how you want to locate and what is the pattern you want to look at. So by break out this component, then you are more easy or manageable to solve the problem. Okay, so this is some example. You are always to look at it one by one, how to do it, and then you collect everything and combine together. You are build your own office table. So the way to break out the thing you need to do or what the item you need to think or consider is called the decomposition. Break down it to the very small part. Then you are able to look at it one by one to find a solution for each of the component or problem. This is some of the example. Let's say you want to calculate the area of this non-uniform shape of the area, non-uniform shape of the pattern. Then it's quite difficult for you to make a calculation, right? Maybe some of you say, okay, maybe we just put on the graph paper, then we count about how many box can be overlapped by this shape. But alternatively, for me, I will try to cut into a lot of the small triangle. Why? Because the equation or formula for a triangle is very easy. It's equal to 1/2 height multiplied by the length of the base. So if I were to split it to a lot of the small triangle, and if you combine all these triangle, it will become similar as the shape of this pattern. So it means that we are able to find the area of this uniform shape, right? Okay, from here, it's talking about the decompositions. Second thing, we try to talk about the pattern recognition. Okay, pattern recognition, it involves finding a similar pattern among the small decomposed problem that can be help us to solve more complex problem more efficiently. What is the definition of the function of this pattern recognition is we try to find a similar a small problem we can solve by the similar way, and the problem need to be solved by the different way. Then we are not need to repeat a similar process, okay, to solve a similar problem. Okay, so maybe I try going to the next thing about the example. Okay, this is an example. Let's say you want to recognize the cat, or you want to teach a children, or let's say after you graduate, after you get married, you have the children. You want to teach your child how they know the animal is the cat. Okay, then in this way, this is the 5 different cat. So you will teach the people will tell their special the shape or special pattern of the cat. So maybe from your opinion, can you tell me if you want to identify that animal is a cat, is not a dog? So what is the part of the cat you're going to identify it? So I hope you can spend some time also here to join the survey. Before I continue this slide, maybe you can spend some time to tell me. Okay. All right. Okay, so you can scan this one and give me the answer. Sorry. Sorry, I think I go into the wrong one. Sorry. I need to stop sharing first. Oh, right. Please anyway. All right. So can you answer it? What is the part of the cat you use to recognize that it's a cat? Maybe in 1 minute. All right, the time is almost here. Okay, so this is the answer you all given to me. It should be sure, right? This one have present anyway. Press enter to start countdown. Okay. Okay, anyone will do the selections so far? Okay, thank you. So from here, the people select, some of you select the ear, some of you select nose, mouth, whisker, and we have some people select the color and the typical. Okay, so maybe I can show you the example and what is the answer now. So in pattern recognition, we try to find the part of the or the we call the component. Okay, is look like the similar from one to other. The keyword here is look similar. It's the we know system we say similar. So if you compare these 5 pictures here, you can see the ear. For all the cat, the ear is like this one, right? It's almost similar. So some of you select ear, correct. This is the correct answer. And then you can see about the nose, this part. It looks like similar, right? The nose of the cat. Okay, so we can say if you want to identify the nose, identify this the cat, you can see at the nose of this the animal. And also the eyes, you can see the shape of the eyes is look like almost similar. The whisker is look like similar. And some of you select the color, you can see we have the black color cat and you have the brown color cat. So this cat should not have it's a common pattern for all the cat. Sorry, the color is not a common problem, a common pattern for the cat. But the ear, the nose, the eye, whisker is like a similar thing. So we look at the something here. Let's say for the cat number 1, I select a ear. I use the ear for the cat number 1. I use the nose, the eyes for cat number 2, the nose for the cat number 3, and typical for cat number 4, and also the whisker and the mouth part for the cat number 5. All right. If I combine all of this component, what will happen? You have the looks. Okay. This is not the one. This is not the picture for one cat. It's combined for all the 5 different cats from 5 different parts I crop out. But when I combine it, if you look at this picture, you still can identify this is the cat, right? I believe. Right. So this all is talking about the pattern recognition. You recognize a common thing, a common part. Like not like you're going to find a very specific character of the pattern. So from here, like the color actually is not so important because the color cannot help you to identify that is a cat. But maybe it's important if for you to know this is your own cat. Right. And this thing, maybe I can extend some identity for you. Previously, I have one project is doing the pattern recognitions. So in this one, it's combined a different color of the picture, right? You can see if I convert it to the RGB and then go to the only the black and white for the pattern recognition purpose, if you are very easy to see, this is the cat. When you ignore all about the color. Okay. So pattern recognition here, you can see if I want to solve a problem or calculate the area for different shape of the pattern, so I will able to split the pattern to one shape to multiple triangle. No matter how the shape are talking about, as well as the shape is combined a straight line from point to point is connected to one straight line to another straight line. So I am able to split it to multiple triangle. You can see this shape, this shape, and this shape. All is different shape, but I will able to split it to a lot of the small triangle. So from here, if I want to calculate the area for this non-uniform shape, only one thing I need to know is what is the equation I can use to calculate the triangle. Once I know this, whatever shape you give to me, I will able to calculate. So this is called the pattern recognition. I need to recognize the pattern the problem of the pattern I face, and what is the common one. I just need to know one common thing, then I will able to solve the rest. Of course, here, if I want to solve the particular or get the area for a specific or let's say this triangle, I need to know the height and the base. But in general, I don't need to know it. What I need to understand and remember is about the formula for triangle. Okay. Next thing in the computational thinking is talking about pattern extraction. So it's the process to filter out or ignore, negate the character or pattern they do not require in solving the problem. And here, what is talking is for certain things such as the color of the cat in the previous example, right? This is something is not so important. Or we're talking about calculate the area for the non-uniform shape. The length, the size actually is not so important compared to how do you split it to a lot of the triangle which can be cover the whole shape. Okay, so pattern extraction, we are ignore about the size and the very specific item which is not so common or not so important to solve the similar problem. Okay, so by this pattern extraction, our target is we want to concentrate on the significant thing to solve the problem. That means a common procedure. Our target, we want to focus on this thing, common procedure. Okay, and then from here we are able to create a general idea. That means this idea can be used to any of the problem or any of the similar problem. If you found a similar problem, we're just using the same procedure. Okay, and then we are able to make easy understand version and complex system by only the key information. So by you narrow out, let's say you have a lot at the beginning, you do the decomposition, right? You can break the problem to a small detail. By at the second thing, we're going to classify a similar detail. At the end, we try to eliminate the small detail. We make it become a general. So when you try to talk to other and describe to other people, is more easy to understand and become less difficult to get what you mean. Right. So this is some of the example of the pattern extraction. You can see here we have the multiple different type of the map. Why we have so many type of the map? Some map you can see like the satellite map, maybe set by the Google satellite to look at the detail of the city. And some of the map you can some are covering about the zone of the city, and some is like the map like this one is a public transport map, and some is given a lot of point is for the location extraction. If you have chance going to travel to overseas, I think last 2 years I just going to round a lot of the Euro city. When I going reach one city, I will going to request a map, right? So I will try to request a lot of different type of the map, and for every map I get, you can see something like this, different information. Why? Because let's say if you want to get a tourist transport from one point to another point, let's say from this point to this point. So what is the information about what is the extraction point between the nearby you actually is not so important. What is important for you is how do you to find how you get what is the route of the bus you need to take, and from at what station you need to go down from the bus or for the LRT or so on. So the map you will focus on what specific you need, the information you need. If you want to take a public transport from one point to point, so you need this type of map with your highlight about the information about what is the station you need to go, and at which station you need to exchange to another line, and at which station you need to go out. But if you are talking, if you currently after you arrive at a certain location, you want to visit the interesting point, the extraction point, right? So you need this type of map. You need to, and this type of map, if you focus on where are the location of the extraction point, then you're able to plan about the route, how you walk around this area to visit all the extraction point. So from here, this all the map actually is built based on the concept of pattern extraction. We only focus about when people using this thing, what they need. Is about all the information group in one. If you group everything like it here, you can try to imagine if all of this information combined in one map, I believe you are very difficult to see or find the information you want, and you will make more confusing. So the good thing for better extraction is we know about some less important information from the solution. So you are able to present it better and make it more easy to repeat. So we go back to the previous example again about the cat. So as you know that if you want to identify a cat, or you want to teach your computer to know this is a picture of the cat, or you want to teach maybe a children to know what is the animal is a cat, so you only need to tell the people how the ear look like, how the nose look like, the mouth look like, whisker look like, and how the typical look like. You know it, you are not going to tell the children. Maybe you have the younger brother. You are not to tell your younger brother how the fur color look like. If the cat, the fur color must be black color or what color. You are not to do this. You will tell them, oh, you want to know the cat, the ear is like look like a triangle one. So this is what you will see. Okay, pattern association mean we are focused in the general pattern, but we are not going to cover about specific detail of the pattern, because this is for to the specific problem. Our target in this thing is we would like to we would like to create a general solution for the problem we face, or how we can solve a similar problem again. Next, this is the last step in the computer thinking, is about the algorithm design. Algorithm design is like talking a plan, how you want to solve it. For the first step, what you want to find, what you want to derive, and then the second step, what you want to calculate, and what you want to maybe to combine or so on. At the end, you get the solution. It's talking about the sequence on solving the problem, and this sequence should be able to repeat for all the cases. Okay, in computer science or in programming, most of the time we are represent the algorithm using the pseudocode and the flowchart. You will draw a flowchart for your problem. So after that, you are able to teach a computer about what is the step to solve the problem you face now. Okay, so in simple word, algorithm design is start, and then the series of the clear instruction on what you need to do and how to do. Inside here is on the flowchart, your algorithm, your pseudocode or your programming code, step by step to tell the computer, or the step-by-step procedure to tell the people on what to do. At the end, you get the result. So this is all about the algorithm. Okay. So application of computer thinking. What else? What computer can be used, can be do? As I said, computer thinking is not only limited use for computer science or used to make a software or write a coding, but it can be used for a lot of the discipline and a lot of the problem. First, it can be related with the computational problem solving skill. That means you're solving a problem which require you to, with the help of computational calculation and so on. So you can using the computer thinking, and maybe you're talking about data information skill. You want to solving a data, so you can using computer thinking, or system thinking skill. You want to know how the system work, you can using this computer thinking to understand it, and even the modeling and simulation. Now I try to give you another example how we can using the computer thinking to solve our problem, or to derive a general mathematic problem. Let's say, I think in your maybe in year 1 or year 2, you draw the cost programming method. Then your lecturer will ask you maybe develop a simple coding to develop a solution to find a sum of all number between 1 and 20. Okay, of course you can doing this by you taking 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 until plus 20. You press your calculator, enter, then you get the result. But if you want to make it faster, let's say first you need to count one between all the sum of all number between 1 to 20. Second, you want to calculate sum of all number between 20 to 40 and so on. So maybe you can create a more general solution, and in one step or 2 steps, you're able to solve everything. So first thing we try to do to solve this thing or get the general solution, maybe you can start with the decomposition. Let's say I take 1 plus 2 equal to 3, 3 plus 4 equal to 7, 5 plus 6 equal to 11. By this thing, you can see that we quite difficult to get the to get the pattern right. But in opposite, if I plus the smaller number with the bigger number between these two numbers, 1 to 20, you get that the sum of the smaller with the bigger equal to 21. However, if I sum up the if I sum out the second smaller number with the second bigger number, I get its sum is equal to 21 again. And I repeat it. This is called decomposition. I decompose all the number with certain pair to find out the pattern. Okay, so by this thing, I found that always I sum out the smaller with the bigger number, I get the same result. Second smaller with the second bigger number, the same result again I obtain. Third smaller and the third bigger result, still the same, I get a similar result. So from here, what information can tell me is this thing. Okay, I'm going to do the pattern recognition. I'm going to recognize pattern. And I say the first smaller plus bigger, this is a pair or number. Okay, if you are getting this, all is similar. And then the total number of pair is equal to this one, the bigger number minus the smaller number plus 1 divided by 2. So I am able to calculate how many number of pair I have. From here, I recognize the pattern. So I try again with another combination. So I can go in, can see this thing we call it, we're doing the experiment. We're going to test our finding either is correct or not by using different case. So we test this here. Now I test is 21 and 30. Okay, so the smallest plus the bigger. The small number is 21, the bigger number is 30. If I want to find sum of all number between 21 to 30, I get this is equal to 51. And then again, I sum a smaller, the second smaller with the second largest number, I still get 51. At the end, I found that I get the similar conclusion. If I sum the smaller with the largest, I will get a similar result, right? I sum a second smaller with the second largest and so on. And if I able to calculate number of pair, I will able to count the sum of the sum between these two numbers. This is what I can get. Now pattern recognition is the conclusion. In this slide is a conclusion about what I get from here. I can summarize it in the equation here. I developed this equation. By developing this equation, I can see the pair. This is about the number of pair I have. So if I want to sum between 21 and 30, so this is I take 30 minus 21. That means I take the largest number I want to sum minus the small number I want to sum, and then I plus 1 divided by 2. At the end, I can doing this final solution. This is what I get. So I just need to, what I need to do is step number 1, I calculate number of pair I have between the number. So I go back previously. In this case, if I want to get the sum from 1 to 20, I just calculate number of pair. I take 20 minus 1 plus 1 divided by 2. So total is 10 pair I can form. So this imagine the pair I sum the largest with the smaller, second largest with the second smaller, and so on. Okay, and second thing I need to calculate is I need to calculate the sum of each pair. So the easier way I can do is I just going to sum the smaller number I have and the largest number I have. After that, I just multiply it. Okay, why multiply? Because every pair you have, you combine in this way, the smaller with the largest, second small with second largest, all will give you a similar result, right? And if you know number of pair, you multiply it, you are able to get the sum between any of the number. And I combine the equation, this is what I get. So in future, if people ask me, can you tell me what is the sum of all number between 100 to 1000? So I just need to apply this equation. You're talking about 1000 minus 100 plus 1 divided by 2, and then 100 by 1000. So directly in this short equation, I will directly give you the answer. I don't need to sum from 100 plus 100, 101 plus 102 plus 103 until 1000. So this is a simple way we're talking about pattern extraction. Okay, so here you can see that what I'm doing in this step is I extract out all the components. Here, sum of each pair is I need to sum from the smaller and the largest, second small and second largest side. But I can see here, everything here is the repeating. So I only need to look at one pair is enough. So this is called the extraction. I don't need to do for every repeating thing. I just need to do once time only. And algorithm design is I want to develop a procedure on how I solve the problem and make a calculation. So from the start, I need to identify the first digit and the last digit given. And then I just calculate the pair I have between the smaller number and the bigger number. Next, calculate the sum of each pair. Okay, then we calculate only one pair I need to calculate in this step. And then I find the sum by multiplying these two things, I get the solution. So this is called the algorithm, just about the step how I solve my problem. All right. Before continue, I give you a critical thinking on possible or not. Maybe you can try to using the computational thinking method. Okay, the solution, the step I showed to you previously, decomposition, pattern recognition, pattern extraction, at the end the algorithm design. To tell me, okay, so you can still maybe 1 or 2 minutes to think, to tell me either the sum between 2 to 10 is possible to using this equation or not. Okay, the sum between 2 to 10 possible to using this equation or not. All right, so if I want to find the sum between 2 and 10, first pair is 2 plus 10 equal to 12. Second pair is 3 plus 9 equal to 12. Third pair is 4 plus 8 equal to 12. And the fifth pair is 5 plus 7 still equal to 12. But the number 6, I only have one number. I don't have another pair. All right, so I cannot form a complete pair at this condition, the sum of between these two numbers. But possible or not, this equation can be used and give you the correct answer. Please have some 1 or 2 minutes, 1 minute to think and tell me the answer. Okay, after you get the solution or you get the conclusion, I hope you can scan this QR code and give me your answer. Okay. Okay. Don't just answer it. Spend some time to think first. Later, I will show you your answer and I will show you about what happened. Okay, in 1 minute's time, maybe. Okay, it's around 1 minute. So this is the answer you all given to me. A lot say yes, some say no, and some say not sure. Okay, for people who say yes, maybe you already get the clue. But it's okay. Maybe some of you is just guessing. I'm not sure. But I will tell you the solution, the answer and solution, how I solve this thing, this question. Actually, the answer is yes. You're still able to using a similar equation to solve the problem. Right. So this is the answer. Pair number 1 is the smaller plus the largest, and second small plus second largest, third small plus the third largest, and fourth small plus the fourth largest, and number fixed pair 6. This is not a number, it's 0, right? Because you have nothing to plus, and you have the maybe the number fixed smaller, but you don't have the number fixed largest. Okay, so this is similar as you divide by 2. So you can say this is 4.5 pair. But you insert into this equation, you will still to keep the similar answer. Okay, so by decomposing it, I will able to see the pattern either is still valid or not valid. All right. After to share with you about the normal, a simple example, I would like to spend, I think, time still enough, maybe about five more minutes for me to share about this thing. Okay, in my university, I also besides I teaching programming and some of the offshore mechanic class, I also asked to teach the solid mechanic one. This is one of example I do in the class. Okay, as you know that currently in the higher education in Malaysia, we try to push for the active learning. Active learning means we try to move from the lecture oriented to the student oriented. Student oriented means we want to in the learning process, it's not only we like in this talk, I just talking and then you listening. So in current education development, we try to become student oriented. We develop a lot of the example or activity so students can be learned by from the activity from their own thinking, self-learning. Okay, so I try to apply computational thinking in my active learning class. So this is the example on I I I teach the student how to understand the topic on how to calculate the transverse stress. Let's say this is a simple example. You have the beam. You are acting about the stress at this point. Okay, in the transverse direction. So what is the maximum transverse stress happen in this beam? Okay, by given the equation of the transverse stress, it's very simple. Tau equal to VQ over IT. Okay, I think for any of you already taking some mechanical class, you will know how to calculate very quick. But for the first time learning, some of them will face a problem. They can't understand. And in this course, in the social mechanical course, always have students comment to me, sir, I do a lot of exercise, I do a lot of example, and I'm going to almost the whole RC Hebrew book I finish it. But why during the test I still not able to score? This is always the question students asking me when they ask for maybe helping or what. But always I will tell them they're doing the exercise, they're doing the exam, studying the example, but they are not going to the fundamental on why the step is going on. So at the end, I try to using this method in my class to teaching. First thing, we know the simple equation. To get any transverse stress, you just need to know the V, the shear force, the Q, the I, and the T. Q is the like the area of moment, moment area above the neutral axis. I is the area of moment, T is the thickness at the neutral axis. If this is talking about calculating neutral, the maximum stress, it's very easy. But how to calculate the I beam and so on, if you're given I beam or given maybe the U beam or and so on, then the step is a bit different. Okay, if when I apply computational thinking in teaching this course, first I ask them try to decompositions the problem. So they will say, if I want to calculate the maximum stress, first I need to know the maybe this thing neutral axis. I need to know the area of moment inertia. I need to know the moment of area about the neutral axis. I need to know about the thickness as the neutral axis. So all these four items, but you know these four things, you're able to calculate the tau, the transfer stress. Then my students try to decomposition it. After that, when they're going to talk, maybe you start with this one, neutral axis. When they want to calculate neutral axis for this problem, first they need to know the area of the top flat, this one. They need to know the area of the bottom flat, and they need to know the area of this part, the center we call the web. And then they need to know the distance to the maybe from the top, because neutral haven't known yet. Distance to top flat, what is the center of the top flat to the top, center of the web from the top, and center of the bottom flat from the top. So this all the information they need to know. Okay, if they want to calculate the moment of inertia, the first thing students need to know what is the location of the neutral axis, and then same students still need to know what is the cross-section area for the top flat, bottom flat, and the web, and also the distance for the neutral axis. And of course, they need to know the equation, how to calculate the area of moment inertia for the top flat, area of moment inertia equation for the web. Okay, and the rest the moment area about the neutral axis and the thickness. So we try to speed up the problem. So this is all the small problem students need to know before they can able to get the big thing, that means the maximum shear stress acting on this I-beam. In the next step, they try to doing the pattern recognition. You can see the color, the same color actually is talking about similar process. So you want to calculate the moment of inertia, first you need to know the neutral axis, and you need to calculate neutral axis for the overall problem also. you need to know the neutral axis before you are able to calculate the moment about the neutral axis. Also, you need to know the neutral axis first before you're able to identify the thickness. So this is 4 things actually only need to conduct one time. Once you know the neutral axis, you already solve this 4 things at one time. Second, maybe they need to know about the area of the top flat. So area of the top flat, one student really know, they're able to apply it to calculate, to solve one of the small step in calculate the moment of inertia. Also, solving one simple step to calculate the neutral axis and calculate maybe the shape of the area about the neutral axis. So you can see the similar color. Why I highlight all the purple color for area of the top flat, area of the web, area of the bottom flat. And you notice here the problem. If I split it out, this is the top flat, this is the web, and this is the bottom flat, right? Actually, to calculate this area, what I need to know is the equation to calculate the area of rectangle. So it's similar thing. Therefore, I just give the similar color lah. If students know how to calculate area of the rectangle, no issue for them to calculate the area of the top flat, web, and the bottom flat. Okay, so this is all problem already solved. If with the term condition, know how to calculate area of the rectangle. Therefore, if you want to calculate area of the I-beam, difficult, but if you want to calculate the area of the rectangle, it's very easy. So you imagine this is 3 rectangle, then you are able to get the area, the cross area. And then also, area moment of top flat is combined in one thing. One, they know how to calculate the area moment of the rectangle shape, so they are able to calculate all these 3 things. So this one we call the pattern recognition. Recognize the similar pattern, and they're going to identify one of them, each of them, what is the equation they need to solve a very, very small problem before they combine it to get the final solution. So next, I'm going to pattern extraction. Because this one we are break out one, and then we group the similar pattern, right? So at this thing, I just need to know is how to split the given shape for the several rectangle, this first step, and how to calculate the area of rectangle. About this, I know the width and the height of each of the rectangle here is different dimension. But if you want to make it generalized, we can ignore it. Regarding how long the length of the top, the length and the height, what is the number of length of the height? This is nothing important. As long as you know the number, you put in the equation, you're able to get the area. Your equation, we are not changing. If let's say if the length of the rectangle is more than 100 meters, so your equation need to change. No, it's still the same equation. So we can generalize it become 1. Just know how to calculate the area of the rectangle. And identify location of each rectangle is similar. We don't say that if rectangle is look in this one, your neutral your center location may be at the top or at the bottom. No, always the same. Just divide the height become a 2, then you get the location. So this is a general step, right? So we try to identify the general pattern and the general equation. At the end, we can build the algorithm, the step by step, how we are able to solve all the problem and get the final solution. So at the start, we try to split it into the multiple rectangle. For any shape I get, maybe I can know the I-beam maybe in the example I give I-beam, maybe in the test I give them maybe the C-beam or hollow. So what they need to do in the first step, try to split the shape I give to them into the multiple rectangle. Then process for all the rectangle. For every rectangle, try to calculate the area, calculate the centroid, calculate the area or moment at the centroid of the rectangle, identify location of the rectangle from the top. Okay, once they finish this thing, they were able to get the neutral axis. And then repeat again, calculate the distance of the rectangle from the neutral axis. Once finish this thing, they already record, right? They're going to next step, calculate the area of the moment acting on the neutral axis. Okay, of course, this one, if you, I am not going to detail about the equation. Actually, from this to this, only one step of the equation, they just insert all the value they have, they already can solve it. Not like the, not like the very complex, not very complex one, right? Next step, identify the shape of the area above the neutral axis. Once you know it, so they just spread out and split the shape above the neutral axis, become a multiple rectangle, and repeat the process again. Calculate the area of the rectangle for all the shape above the neutral axis, and identify location of rectangle from neutral axis, and then calculate the moment area above the neutral axis. This is to calculate the equation Q actually, and put everything you know into the general equation tau equal to VQOIT, get the solution, then N. Okay, so this is a general thing we ask the student to develop. At the end, if I give that whatever shape, whatever spatial shape, they're still able to using the similar step and similar equation to solve it. And they can help them to understand better and understand more detail how and why we need to perform this calculation step. Okay, so this is just before I end the part for the computer thinking, I try to refresh again about what we learned about the important skill and procedure in the computer thinking. So computing skill actually is talking about decomposition of the problem, and then identify the pattern and extract pattern extraction. That means we simplify the problem. At the end, we decide a procedure. And if you look at this, all of these four things actually is very important in the mathematics and science. As I show you in the example, these two, one is about mathematics, one is in the science or engineering. If we are able to using these four things for any problem, we are able to solve the problem actually. And from one of the paper published by Ozu, they said that if the high computational skill people normally have a really high education level, high score in the IT course, and important, high score in the mathematics. Based on the data they correct, people have good mathematics score, they also have a good computational thinking skill. Also, people have a good score in the science, also have the good computational thinking skill. So we can say in reverse, if we train the people if we have good computer thinking skill, most probably, okay, maybe they are able to have the highest score in the mathematics and the science due to their scoring. They have the proficient about the method or the skill to solve the problem. However, if you want to train your computer thinking skill, right, this is not regarding the internet using. If you spend more time in using internet, watching the YouTube or Facebook, this will not help you to expand your computer thinking skill or problem solving skill, unless you are spend more time in using the IT, like develop using a system doing simulation. That one will help you to expand this skill. Okay. So before I going to have the first break for this this talk, maybe you can spend some time to tell me, okay, what is the what in your opinion, what is the course or what is the daily activity you can apply computational thinking? Okay, from your opinion, maybe you can give me your opinion. Okay, so you can start scanning and give me your opinion. In your opinion, what is the activity and what course or what calculation, what engineering problem you think computing is suitable for you to use? All right. While you are answering this, maybe I can pass back the time to Dr. Jonathan for about a few minutes break. We'll be waiting you answer it. We will come back to you with the answer after the break.
Thank you, Dr. Siow. Yeah, as you can see, guys, this is how you work from fundamental breakdown of working on computational thinking. Then you slowly move into a more complex problem solving, especially in the engineering sector. Okay. Now we would like to open the time now for a short Q&A session. If anyone would have a question, you can type in the chat box. Okay. Okay, so while waiting for some questions, I understand most of you here are not really from a coding background. That is what this whole purpose of this talk is all about. So probably there are some jargons that was mentioned just now. Maybe I can ask Dr. Siow to explain a little more. What do you mean by pseudocode?
Pseudocode is
pseudocode, and you explain it to the students so that they can utilize it in their computational thinking.
Thank you. Pseudocode is like a sentence. You can see the human sentence to explain about the step you need to conduct by. That means there is a step-by-step explanation on what you need to do to solve a problem. Let's say that means from A to Z. For step A, what you want to do, you write in the human understanding language. Then, in the second step, you write another sentence, a very very short sentence to represent what you want to do. It's like a pseudocode. Actually it's the human sentence. Okay. Before you translate it to the computer coding. Okay.
Yeah, so that would be pseudocode for everyone. Now, probably I follow up with another question.
Yes.
About daily problems, because some of our students, they might not be very engineering. They don't come across I-beams. They don't come across machine learning. Like, for example, if I just want to go to a simple cafe, go to a normal parking, solving problems in a supermarket, day-to-day, more common problem. Maybe can you just list a more common problem, then you walk us through how to do the pseudocode, how to think through the pseudocode, and probably how to implement, which I think would be the next portion of the talk.
Okay. Yeah, it's something related. I have one or two examples in this part in my working life after I become a lecturer in the university. My responsibility in the university is more regarding the quality part. I am asked to conduct a lot of the survey and doing collect of the data for the university. This is my working life. So, and then always I give about one-man job. in this I need to success of the human. More of the time I need to solve the problem myself, and really limiting of the time is given. So what I can do is I have to plan a lot of the procedure. That means the procedure is all the tool I can use to solve the problem. So computer thinking, as what I do is I'm going to find out the way for me to conduct a survey faster. Like first, I want to conduct a survey where I can get the data. After I get the data for the contact number, such as contact number, and what else I want to ask for our alumni. Second thing, I have to think about what I want, how I can deliver the message for them, what tool I want to use, and what is the effectiveness of each tool. So I just break out this into the several parts. From the problem, from get the information to develop the question, what kind of question, because like when you receive the survey form, right, you see inside the survey form, a lot of the question is required to write a very long paragraph. I believe in the next moment you will just click the X and then go out. This is what will happen. So we have to identify what is the reason causes the student or the alumni less to respond, and in what way we can attract them to respond to the question. So all I have to using able to using a computer thinking skill to break down this problem and think about it. Okay, and then at the end also I using this computer thinking method for my for my software development. I already in the next next part I will show you about some of the software I developed. Not only to develop software, not only programming skill I need. I use a lot of the computer thinking method to break my problem and to create a software can help me to do my work. Like a lot of things, like you want to contact people, maybe you need to call one by one, or maybe you need to send them the personal message one by one to highlight certain information to them to attract their attention. So I can convert everything into the custom-made programming code or software back by myself, and it can help me to do the job. So this is the application of computational thinking in my working life. A lot of time I'm using this to solve my problem. And by using this one good thing is, even I am one man doing the job, by providing a several unit of computer, I can doing a lot of multitasking, because no I just control computer do for me. One computer maybe to set up the survey form, one maybe used to automatically process the data and answering the question, and one to help me to record the information. Okay, so this is what I experienced before. Okay.
Yeah, I remember you were sharing with me that you were doing a project with a school where the school need to issue so many letters. It's like they need to type manually students' name, their problem, then print the alignment is out of sync, out of whack. Then you just did a code, did a platform for them. So everything is automated. They just need to put in the list of students, automatically all the letters are out without a lot of manpower.
Yeah, just one button. Just one button. If you are using template, issue the warning letter for who not coming to class, and automatic email to the student without any human interest on this. So by using manually, maybe someone work in computer or in Excel, they can use the must new method to generate a letter, and then they need to one by one attach the email to send out. So we just convert it to the coding. In one time, they click the button, automatically generate, automatic attach the email, and automatically send to the student. So they can save a lot of time at our admin staff.
Yeah, so very useful.
Okay.
Okay. Seems like we have 100 odd of students who are numb-found. No questions from the floor. But it's really useful and nonetheless interesting. And some people pay a lot of money to solve this kind of problem. Okay. Now, so perhaps without any questions, I pass the back time to Dr. Siow to continue, not just in the response portion, but you can continue with your second portion of sharing. We will try to keep the time to before 4:30. Okay. I'll pass it back to you, Dr. Siow. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Jonathan. Okay. For the second part, it's much faster because I will share with you about my experience on how I learned the programming language and why I have to use a lot of different programming language to solve my problem. Okay. Before I continue the second part, maybe I just show you about the answer you all provide to me. The course or the activity, maybe you able to use computer thinking method to understand it. From here, I see the bigger one, maybe it's a microcontroller and the graphic design. Very correct. This one is very applicable. Maybe I start with the microcontroller. In microcontroller, first you need to break out the problem, like what is a component you want to do, what is the sensor you want to use, and then you also need to break down the part like the solution, how you want to control, how fast, let's say you want to do the automatic flowering watering system. So how much of water you want to put to your flower every day. So everything, this is you need a specialist study. If not, if you are able to build a good system. Okay, and graphic design also able to combine to using this, because in graphic design, right, you are not only going to draw any of the image or doing any of the graphic. You have start with the client request. As what I understand, client request you what you need to do. You have to choose what is the color you need to use, and also maybe you need to know that what is the logo, or maybe the logo, the shape, which you'll be able to attract more people. So from this, you're able to break out a lot of small problem, and then you think of it one by one before you're able to build a final, the final product for your customer or your homework. Okay, a lot of things is really applicable. Thank you for your answering. Okay, so in the middle of time, I go into the next one. Next part of my explanation. So in my second part is talking about the programming skill. So my focus in this part will be how to learn a programming skill, learn the programming language, and why this skill is so important. Of course, I will try to relate it again about the daily life. If you had a good programming skill, what else you were able to do? So programming skill in general, the definition is computer programming skill or programming skill are method process that provide computer instruction on what action to perform. Okay, in last 1 hour we talking about computational thinking skill, right? That is about in our human mind, how we solve the problem and how we describe a problem. When we go into programming skill, beside we solve by our human, maybe some of the thing we are able to pass to computer to solve. Let's say you want to solve the 100 multiplied by 100 matrix. So programming will help you calculate it much faster than your manual calculation. Okay, in this to perform this, you need a programming skill. But how do you teach the computer or the procedure? How do you simplify the procedure? Okay, make it very detailed and able understand the computer. Able understand the computer, that means you write in the coding, so the computer understand what you want the computer to do. Then it will perform the task as what you instruct and give you the answer you expected. Okay. So actually, in general, it's this four things. First is the serial instruction. Programming skill is talking about how do you plan. Okay, one thing, programming is not coding. Although coding is a part of the programming, but programming is not 100% talking about how to type a code. It is including about how do you do the we call the algorithm. That means do the pseudocode. Write a flow chart to relate your step, one step to other step. How do you pass the flow of the flow of the computation? Okay, it can be write in the word or number or symbol and so on, so you can understand and able to translate to the computer. So programming skill also talking about the communication between human and computer or computer with computer. Human with computer is very easy to understand, right? You give some input, then computer give you some output. Okay, but programming skill also talking about how do you let the computer to computer communicate between each other. In my working experience, I try to develop a automatic accelerator system where okay, where some of the maybe the engineer, they set up the instruction from the computer, so the computer, which is from the remote server, right? It will send the instruction to the lab, and the lab automatically control the generating system to make the experiment. So if someone else try to interfere or try to go into the system to give another instruction, so we are trying automatic communicate to set it to the waiting list or whatever. So this is something the computer to computer communication because you open the one system to too many people to access, right? So you need something to monitoring it or something automatic to arrange it. Okay, and programming skill also talking about the perform a specific task. One of the coding you make to the computer, they only able to give you to complete a specific task. Let's say you make
Hi,
a
Dr.
coding.
Siow, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Are you sharing a screen?
Sorry. Wait,
Yeah, you need to share a screen.
Oh.
So sorry for the delay.
It's okay. It's okay. I think I just continue from here. Okay.
Okay. Hey, thanks.
Right. It's okay. Thank you for the reminding. Okay. So next is perform specific task. Here mean you teach a computer how to, let's say not you teach a robot to keep a curry chicken. If possible, without teaching them, it will keep you a chicken rice. You need to specify again. So computer programming skill, when you do the coding, they only specific to perform a specific task. They are not give you other thing what you want. Only can do what you already teach them. So this is talking about programming skill, how to teach a computer to do specific thing. Right. So this is the list I obtained from the next where I searched in 2021 August. This is the most popular programming language currently used is the Python. Okay, I'm not sure what language you will learn, But for my university, we still focus in teaching the C because our mechanical engineering people, one of the main thing they need to do after in the third year or fourth year is relating the we call the mechatronics courses and the robotic courses. So they are trying to learn how to build the robot. So we found that C maybe is more suitable for them. But I believe a lot of the university try now we move to the Python. So, but regarding whatever language you learn here, actually, once you know the fundamental of one, you are able to learn another one very fast. But just based on a current market demand or current market condition, Python is the most popular language. Why? Because it's, as we know that now it's in the IR 4.0, AI, big data, and most of this word AI big data is the what current focus in the market. And Python have a lot of library can be used for the AI simulation or the big data analytics. So that's why they become very popular because they have a lot of the framework which is developed based on this language. Previously, before the Python is the Java, because in the time internet and computer is internet we call the IT is more popular. So Java is one of the good language if you relate or JavaScript are these two is if you related with the web development and so on. So before we continue for the next part, maybe we spend some time for your next question for me to the record. So until I think maybe some of you maybe is already second year or third year, I believe you will learn some programming language, or some of you maybe already learn the programming language in your secondary school. Is it possible for you to let me know what else, what language you are learning previously? Wow. So I believe in university now only move to the Python because I see the word Python is really, really large. Okay. So while you are answering the question, I can show you the answer also lah. This is what you all give me. It's really good. Your university already provide a syllabus now in the Python. We try to move this, but due to some consideration, we still remain in C in our current condition. Okay, so maybe in a few more seconds before I stop for this part, I'll go to the next slide. Okay, right, already stopped the response. Okay, so if you are still targeting for Python, I believe in future maybe you all are targeting on more on the data analytic or AI computation. Okay, so whatever language you learn actually is not so important. It do not affect your programming skill. Programming skill, as I say, is not only about coding. It's more about how do you give the instruction to the computer. Coding is only a part. This is relating how to communicate. Like the language, some of you is very good in English. Some of you really good in Mandarin or in Malay. But this will not stop you from communicate with other. Okay, of course, if you want to communicate with someone, let's say you speak English, some of your partner is not understand English. Of course, you have to change another language. But if some of other people know the English, you speak English, although your English may be good or no good, the proportion in the language may be not so efficient. But if you are not stop your communication, the communication is depending on how do you express your feeling and your knowledge, your understanding. Right. Same for the programming. Of course, if you really good understand the language, it will help you a lot to fasten up your coding job. But it may not help a lot by planning how do you give the instruction. Okay, this is different thing. So for programming, every time when we're talking about programming or the new programming language, this is all the fundamental we have to know for any language. Maybe you don't need to know very detailed like how you can make a map. Okay, how do you call a Google Map into your software and do some plotting on the map to find a distance? But that one is we call it more the advanced or more for specific application. And don't worry, you don't know about that part, how to code the Google Map into your software, because by some Google by a few minutes, you already can get the solution. But the important thing in the programming is understand the concept and the syntax. So this is all the normal or basic syntax. I believe in most of the engineering courses, if you teach about programming, this is all the fundamental thing you got this student. How do you do the input output? How do you declare variable? Play about the logic, method, mathematical operation, array, and so on. Okay. So input, due to that, I try to fasten out. Okay, input output is like how do you read the data lah? Okay, how do you get the data from the text file? This one is very important for you to provide custom instruction to the coding, and they can do special tasks more detailed. As I said previously, in the computational thinking part, when we do a coding or whatever thing, we only need to write a general procedure. Okay, the general procedure, how to calculate the triangle with this computer, but we don't give the computer about what is the number multiplied by what number you get the area. So this one you call it, if you able to know how to use the input output in the coding, so all the custom user can give the custom input to the computer and perform a special calculation for you. Okay, and then wherever this is what we need to know and study when we talk about coding concept. How do you declare integer float and what is the effect of the size? Okay, this example I show here is for the Chee. Actually, for myself, I'm more familiar with the Chee language for in my current condition. Okay, so this one important is you're able to know how much the memory you need to use. Of course, if you only talking about a simple coding, this one not important because whatever how many you declare, we are not go until that off the computer RAM. Okay, but important you need to know the syntax int is meaning of what. Impossible you want the computer to store the memory like 4 point something with the decimal point, then you declare the int integer to the integer memory for the computer. So this is all you need to understand when you learn about programming concept, also the programming language, and the basic mathematical operations. Okay, this is called the arithmetic operation, like how plus, minus, multiply, and the divided actually is almost similar for all the programming languages. What I found out, maybe these two modulus increase or decrease, some of the coding maybe is different. Also for this one, mathematics class, this one is something you need to know for the language you are using. So how you want to calculate, find the minimum or find the square of the number. So what is the syntax you can use? Not every coding you provide this kind of we call the library, the class or some language you need to call a library first before you're using it. So you need to understand how you can use this kind of library, on what else you need to prepare before you're able to call this library into your coding. And logical, this is another concept we need to learn, how we play a logical condition. Logical condition means either true and false in the Boolean value, true and false. Whatever expression you put at the part, the only result it gives you is true or false. It's like the comparison logic. So A is smaller than B, is A is 1, B is 2, so it will give you a true value. Okay, so how to using the logical condition, and then how to playing a loop. This is all the fundamental of the coding you need to know, and the syntax, how the syntax, and how do you use it in your solution, in your instruction, when you want to give the instruction to the computer. So this all thing you need to know, right? And also method. Method mean it's like the function or the subroutine. Some of the programming language they call method as the subroutine. Maybe C++ normally we call it a subroutine. In C# we call it maybe, I think C# we call it methods or class, and in C we call it structure. So all is representing is a method. That means it's a special block of the coding. It will be work or doing the job if called by the main structures or main coding. Okay, so this one, the method, this for method, what you need to special understand is how to define it, how to call it to run, and how to pass the data, and how to return the data. Okay, because I think for the previous one, using the loop, doing the operation logic, that one is very simple. Really, maybe by one video or few minutes of the video, you're able to understand everything. Just maybe sometimes you are unable to memorize it, you need some of the list of the coding as your reference when you type the code. But for method, start here. Method is specialty, is something more difficult when students they want to use this class of the code. For my experience, I teaching programming method, programming for engineer. Always the method student will face a problem. One day, I ask them to make a special method to solve a problem or call from the main structures. Always they have a problem and ask me how to debug. Right. So to understand the method in the coding language, first you need to know this four things, especially to how to pass the data to the method and return the data, because they have special way to declare it. Sometimes you pass the variable to the method. After you make certain execution, that if you're not returned to your main structure, unless you need to change the coding a bit or make to some modification. So this have the clue. You need always need to get the example first and go to understand it before you use this syntax. And understand the array. This is another thing in the programming language, common syntax or basic you need to know when you learn a new language. Array, I think don't need to do this definition, but I go to here is easy. Variable. Let's say you are given a mark of 10 students for you to make an execution, like find the min mark for the one class. The class has 10 students. You can replace 10 variable for one variable to store the data for one student. So you can think that variable is something like a box. One box to keep one item. That means it's one data. But in array, you can imagine it's like a rack. Okay. So for every layer, you can keep one information, and the overall one we give only one name. So that means array is a syntax of the memory. We're going to collect all the information. That means the similar information in one group. So easy for us to doing the next process. All right. So this is all the fundamental programming language you have to study and understand when you want to go to the new language. Right. Okay, for my experience, I have learned about this all the language. Of course, as some I have not covered, like the Java. I have already experience to touching the Java, touching about Swift. Swift is for develop iOS, but that one I'm not using a long time, so I'm not put here. Okay, during my undergraduate study, I start with learning the C++. Then I move to the Fortran. Okay. Fortran is also undergraduate study and MATLAB. This one for my experience, I am not learning this for specific purpose. Just one purpose. I want to pass the course. Same as you all when you undergraduate. Mostly you're going to learn. Just want to pass. I also the same during my bachelor degree. So as what I can see, what I know that until I grade my bachelor degree, actually I'm not familiar with all this code. I know how to use, I know the syntax, but if I say the programming skill, I'm not strong. I'm still not unable to create a totally program a software by myself without any help. Okay, so then within a PhD, I'm going to study the Visual Basic. This one is especially for my PhD research. I'm using this coding, this language to develop a computational fluid dynamic software, numerical software especially to solve the problem, the structure interact with the wave. So this is the language I use. During this time, I learned it and I use the language with certain purpose to develop a certain the system able to solve or make a calculation I want. So during that time, I start to expand and I know what is the real thing about the programming skill. Programming is not only the coding. Although I know every syntax in the Visual Basic during that time, I still are able to make a software which able to run without any bug. So during the time I start to know a programming language, I need to plan the instruction. I need to know the step I need to do. What is the first? What information I need to give to the computer. Second, what is the second information I need to give, and what the computer need to calculate before I can give them the third job. Okay, so that time I start to expand. And I'm going to C# after I graduate, I'm going to C#, Python, and JavaScript. This is all I'm currently using now. for solve the problem in my work. And just about last 2 years, I start given the course programming, and in my university we are teaching about C. Then I'm going to learn the C. This one special only for teaching. I more prefer to using this few code in my working life. Okay, so in my conclusion, all programming language is the same general principle. As what I look at, the syntax such as how to do input output, how to call the doing the looping, do decision making, do array, make a method. The syntax is look like almost similar, not much different. Of course, some of them using the square bracket, some of them using the circle bracket, but it look like almost similar. Okay, and what I know, when I understand one and concept of programming, I am able to understand the next very easy. During this time, when I learned Visual Studio, I found very difficult. But when I start to learn Visual Basic, I do it very detailed and understand every line what it happened. After grading, I'm going to learn C# and Python. I able to do very fast. Honestly speaking, I start C# in last 2 years. In 1 month of the attachment with the overseas university to do some project, I able to use this C# alone from zero without any knowledge on this language. Learning while practicing, I able to create a software. Later I show you the software I make. Okay. So one of the reasons for me why I shift from one language to another language is because of the framework. Framework, that means is the set of the rule. Let's say in this one, if I want to make the web development, the framework I'm able to use is the Node.js, the Django, Ruby, and so on. So Node.js is more supplied by using the JavaScript, the Django if I'm using the maybe for Python. So if I only know the C#, I'm able to using this Node.js framework. For maybe some of the people from the computer science, they will say that why not they just whatever language I can develop by myself using the language from the script. But by help of the framework is something like the template. If you're able to use it, map it, you can create a certain thing new with a very small effort in the programming. Okay, so I would like to using the framework a lot to solve my problem or to generate a software. So in this way, I have to switch from one language to another language. If I want to doing the web, I will be using the JavaScript. Last time, you are doing the mobile application, while you're using the Submarine framework. What framework that means is it's not a library. Library actually is what you call. Framework is like the template you make to follow the rule, not like you're calling it. So I have to use the language the framework support. Okay. So now I think I have few more minutes here to talking about learn the programming language strategy. First, understand the basic. You want to learn the programming language, always start with the basic, don't go into the advanced, right? Like how to make a Flappy Bird or how to do a GPS system with a new language. Impossible for you able to do this. Always start with the basic. How to make a simple loop, how to make a hello world. This is very important when you go into the new language. So if you have a fundamental, believe me, in one week maybe you are able to become I can't say proficient, but I can say at least you are able to use a new language to make a software already. Okay, but if you don't have any idea about programming, you can start with any language you like. We can't say Python is the best. We can't say JavaScript is the best. This is all we are not had the word best programming language so far until today. We only had the most usable programming language. Why? Because the framework. If you want to do the web, maybe the framework for the maybe Node.js is better, so you can use JavaScript. So depending. Okay, to understand the basic concept of the programming language, what I propose you to use maybe is the solo learn. This is a way I use. This is the app you ever in the Android, iOS, or in the website. Okay, by just download, you can download it free, and you can understand the syntax. They have give you, let's say, input output. How do you print a word? They give you the syntax and the explanation, and then in the next page, it will give you a short quiz for your answer. You can check either you understand correctly or not. And most important thing is solo learn have the free version. Although free version sometimes they have some advertisement coming out, but it's okay. You can use it for learning purpose. When I go into a new language, or when I am going to solo learn, subscribe the new language package, and then I'm going to practice inside to know the fundamental. And then always, if you want to learn the coding to become proficient, you need to start with purpose. Why? If you don't have purpose, you are very easy to get lost and get bored. So make something at the end you can play with. So you have to know, oh, let's say maybe I make a simple game, the game, card game, couple game, maybe. So at the end, you success to do it, you are able to play with this. And this is something we call to generate your self-satisfaction. If you do something like useless and just for without any application, you are not feel the satisfaction and very fast you will give up. Okay, so do something with what you can play or you can use in your life, and you will feel motivation and you are continue practicing. And during you practice the coding, right, I believe even you're going to solo learn to get 100 marks, you always still forgot something. So what I propose to you, if you touch it with the web development, W3 School is one of the platform for you to get the reference. You just click, going to website is free. You will get the list of the coding you can use. Okay, the list means the syntax you can use. You don't need to memorize. In my case, sometimes I do JavaScript, sometimes I do Python, sometimes I do C#. I can tell you, actually, I don't memorize any of the coding because this is all coding. For here, I just one click thing, in 1 second, I will know it. So useless for me to memorize it. What I need to do, I just go in the page, put it in another screen so I can refer it. All right. So understand the coding is something like this time, like you like this one, you need to climbing a mountain or like this. So you need to learn step by step. Don't for one step going to the top, because the new knowledge you have always is built from the previous knowledge. Okay, let's say you want to code the map. Before code the map, you need to do some decision. You need to know how to build a decision-making coding just to be able to code the map, come to the coding. So always the new thing is built on the top of your previous knowledge. You don't in one step going to the very difficult task. Okay, it's impossible. You need to start from the basic. And most of the solution you need is not a new thing. Remember, learn from copy and paste. Okay, in coding, always we in my class, always I tell students copy and paste is innovative. The meaning here is the task they need to solve. Okay, the simple task they need to solve actually already solved by a lot of people, and the solution is shared to the internet. So what they need to do is just going to find the coding or syntax can solve their problem, and copy and paste to their own code in their coding and modify it so they can ship and can link to each other. But the one thing is they need to understand what they copy. Okay, if you don't understand what copy, I believe at the end they will find a bug and cannot run. And even they do some a little bit modification, will cause the whole system corrupt. Okay, so copy with understanding. So for this thing, the learning result I can propose to you using the Stack Overflow. This is what I always using. This is the website for the collaborative Q&A for the programmer. You can go into that to search it, search a certain solution. Let's say you want to calculate the mean of the certain value. You don't know, example, you don't know. So you're going to start over, they will tell you what is the procedure, how do you make the looping, and until the end, you get the result. So this is all the platform you can help you and give you the idea how to solve it. At the end is the keep learning, always keep learning. So keep learning, you always from time to time we have the new trend and new technology coming in, and you have the new language. Okay, normally new programming language we develop to solve a new current trend of the technology need. Then you cannot use one language from the start until the end. Always you need to explore your view and going to new learning. Okay, so it is this part. If you want to going to new keep learning and going to explore about new language, how easy is it? I propose using the website learnxin1minutes.com. You go into this website, you are able to find a lot of the sample coding, include of most of the syntax for the language. Then you can going to see how simple the language for you to understand and how difficult it is. So to learning programming, the one thing is you need to be patient. Okay, be patient means actually this is what you see in the movie. This is what actually happened. Most of the time in the programming task is you just like this. Keep looking on the screen to don't know what actually happened, because it's impossible for the coding you write, right, not have any bug. When you start debugging it, always the bug are coming in, cannot run. If this is syntax error, it's very easy to solve, but if it's logical error, you have to find it line by line to sort out what part. Maybe some part you need, like the 1 star is for multiplication, right? Maybe some of the equation is need to power by 2, maybe. So you need to put double star for the power out. But you only put 1 star, so you need to go in line by line to find out it. So this is actually what happened in the programming line. So be patient. Don't think you are not good if you are unable to do like this time, because this is nearly impossible. Okay. So if you're good in programming skills, this is what the thing you can do. I try to spend 1 or 2 minutes to tell you what I use my programming skill and computer thinking method to solve my problem. First, this is just happened in last 2 months. I am asked by my superior to develop a backup system for conduct the final exam. And what I receive is no budget, because this is only the backup system, so the university are unable to spend more money for us. So we're just doing some backup in case it's an e-learning corrupt, or sometimes because the system now, we don't know, we just worry. So we have the backup system, but I am not given any budget. I need to make standard for old school, and I only give about 1 month to develop it. So in this case, I just think about what we have, and unfortunately, all of the stuff here have the Google account. It's provided by the school. So I just using the Google application sheet, we call G sheet, to solve this problem. Okay, they want it become standardized for everyone. So I using the Google spreadsheet, using the Google Drive, Google app, and I make all my coding in the Google Apps script to control the spreadsheet, control the Google Form on and off, control the Gmail, and control the Google Drive. So it can automatically email the student all the question, automatically tell the student the password when the time arrives, so they can open the file, turn on the Google Form for them to submit answer, and turn off the Google Form once the time is due. So we can stop them to submit to penalty the student who submit late. So in this Google spreadsheet, I developed in the Google App script, and then I share to all the staff in my school, so they are able to use my template to conduct the exam automatically without any human monitoring. That means it's monitoring on the turn on and off the Google Form. They only monitoring the student do investigation, either student checking or not. This is what they need to do. So they don't need to care about the system. It will run in behind automatically. This second thing I do, automated WhatsApp system. This is what I showed you previously. As you know that, it's what from my study, I found that if I send a bulk message to all the students through the email, most probably no one will reply the survey. I think you all have experienced, is your lecturer just sent in the class WhatsApp group, some of them will miss the message. So from what my own study, I found that personal WhatsApp message is a more effective way of besides calling them directly. So what I can do is I send a personal WhatsApp message, but send one by one is very time consuming. I know you are able to subscribe to certain packages, you can be able to do this search on here, but without the budget, and we want to, with the limited resource, we are able to do this. So I develop my own software. It can automatically control the Google Form, send the message, and give the information and keep in touch with the student. So they will further remind them and keep remind them to answer the survey form from time to time automatically. And this is the thing I can use the programming skill is to process the data. This during my PhD study where I need to do this type of job. For one experiment data I receive for one run, this is all the thing I need to do. It's very long. And I can tell you during that time I make 180 run, and every run they have around million of the data. So to process manually is very difficult, and you found even open the Excel file, computer will be hang because it's too heavy. Then with our programming skill, we can develop automated system. Just I need to tell them the folder I keep the data, automatically they give me the final result, which is the response amplitude of the structures. And this is just I done in the last year. I want to collect the data for the internet regarding the particular of the ship. Let's say the ship length, the weight, and the displacement. So one of the data source I can find maybe in the marine traffic, but they are not provide in the batch file. They have provide one by one. So if I want to get the data for all the ship I have to click in one by one to check in it. So this is very difficult. What I can do is I develop a simple software, automatically open the browser, going to find the data, process it, and then set into my database. So all will run automatically without my control. Okay, so by this programming skill, what I can conclude here is it can save a lot of my time, especially the time I want to collect data and the task is very repeated. So I just let the computer do. I just need to make the program one time. I mean, I need to hit it one time to set up the system, and then I can call it to work for me for the rest. I no need to repeat a similar process. Okay, in my conclusion, computer thinking is not about the coding and software. As I told you, people in the first part of this talk is talking about the thinking skill and how to solving the problem. So by doing the 4-step decomposition, pattern recognition, pattern extraction, and the algorithm design, you are able to open the question, to understand the question until you get the solution for the problem. And programming is not only on how to code, as include the planning. So don't think about programming is talking on. So that means in your study, right? If you has chance to learn a programming code, not just to learn about how to use the syntax, you have to learn about how to use the planning and give the instruction and get the problem solution, the step-by-step problem solution. How do you do the planning? So this is talking about the computer programming skill. Okay. And then technology, the last word I want to say to this story, technology is changing now how we live and work, especially in the current this few years. You can see that the explosion of the technology is become very, very fast, not like the previous last 10 years. So from time to time, not from time, from day to day, you will see the new skill, new system or new software or new website coming out to solve or enhance your life. So we are now in the time of the world of computation. None of you can be skipped from computation regarding what the job you do. You will always deal with computer, and computer actually become a tool for you. It's not like the special thing. Not only some people will have a computer, not all of you have a computer. Even your smartphone is a small computer can help you to do the work. Therefore, I can say computer thinking and programming skill are one of the skills needed in current era what we are living now. Without computer skill, you have found a lot of the difficulty. And when you're working, right, a lot of job you have to spend a lot of the effort to solve it. If by computer skill, you can put something to computer, you can make your life easier. You can save a lot of time. I think this is all for my speak for today, and thank you. I return back to Dr. Jonathan.
Thank you, Dr. Siow. Really so much knowledge, so much programming sharing that actually 2 hours is really not enough. Now, as you guys notice in the chat box, you will see that there is a form being posted, so you are reminded to fill up the attendance before 5 p.m. Because you need to collect your ELE point. Now, so this is for official announcement. We intend to invite Dr. Siow again to share with us in more specific programming. Now, just a shout out to all the candidates here. Is there a specific skill that you would like to learn? If yes, you may just type in the chat box. Then probably when we engage Dr. Siow the next time, we will ask him to share in a more specific way of interest of yours. So just now, if you saw, we have data sniffing, networking, using forms. So those are very practical means. So if you're interested, just put it on the chat box so that when we engage Dr. Siow the next time, it should be a little more hands-on and more beneficial to all. Okay, so I won't take up the rest of your time. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Siow, especially. We hope to see you again. So don't forget the form. And if you are interested in anything, just drop us a thumbs up or something on the chat box so that we will know what to do in the future. Okay. So for those who need to go, you may leave. But for those who have any questions, I think we can stay back a little. And if you have any questions for Dr. Siow, I'm sure he'll be very glad to answer your questions. Okay.
Sir, sorry, I can get
Yes.
the chat box here.
Okay, is there something you want to ask or you like to say you want to learn in the future?
No, about the form, I think. I can't fill the form because there is no chat box here.
Okay, can you point out your name? Kong Ming, can you help send the form to the student?
Yes, sure.
Can you speak again? Who are you?
Sir, me also.
I'm Rahman Dika Adi Pradana, sir.
Okay. Kong Ming, probably can you like share a QR code you share on the screen so that those who don't have, they can just scan and
Okay,
have the form. Okay, so students, you please hang on a moment. We will share screen, put up a QR code so that you can easily scan, or we put up the link for you to access the form. Okay. Okay, for those who are unable to put in the chat, you cannot access the chat box. Okay, I think the QR code is up. Please let us know if there's any trouble accessing it.
Sir, I can't scan the QR code.
You can't scan the QR code. Okay, let me check on my end. Hi, can you please try again? Because I'm able to scan the QR code. Maybe can you
Sir, now I'm able to scan. Thank you.
Okay. So the QR code is working, guys. So please let us know. Should not be a problem.
Excuse me, sir. Are we allowed to leave after submitting the attendance? Because I have another class.
Sure. You
right.
may. For
Thank you
those who
for
need to
Dr.
leave,
Siow.
you may leave. Thank you, everyone. Unless you have any
you.
questions, you can stay back.
Sir, can we have a group photo?
Oh yeah, thanks. Okay, guys, can you turn on your cameras? We like to take a picture so that we can submit back to SAA. So for those who are available, can you turn on your cameras? Thanks, Komi, for reminding. Are you able to capture the screen?
Yes. 1, 2, 3. Okay, done.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Once again, thank you, Dr. Siow. We hope to see you again very shortly in the future. Okay, thank you, everyone. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, Wan, and thank you, Dr. Jonathan, for giving the chance.